Hi everyone. I just finished making a second batch of my peppercorn jelly, and it came out even better this time. What happened with the first batch is I didn't add the pectin in there correctly, and so there was a couple things that I didn't do while processing this jelly. It gets really hard when you're doing jellies. It's kind of complex. Jelly set at a certain temperature, and what I did was I did two methods here. What I did was when I was taught in my classes and how to make candy, I basically did a soft gel test or soft candy test. Basically, you take a cup of water. And it's a little cloudy because I've done it and it's on the bottom, but it's okay because it turned out perfect. And you make it ice water, and then while it's boiling, you take the gel and you just kind of put a little bit in there, and it should gather together and make a soft gel. And that's how they do a hard gel, or I might be saying it wrong, but incorrectly because it's been a while since I've done it. So it kind of dissolved, and I could see it, straining down like a thin ribbon and turning into a bunch of little pearls on the bottom. So that to me said, okay, that's a good jelly. And what I had to do was I had to add extra sugar. And basically what I did was I did another half of recipe. When it fails, I did another half of recipe. I still had some corn liquid left, and then I redid the recipe with my peppers, my jalapeno peppers, and my red bell peppers. Of course, you de-seed them and you chop them up finely. And I added my lemon, a little bit of vinegar, and just you can add a pinch of salt if you like. I didn't do it this time, but basically after I boiled the liquid, I had to dump out all the first batch out and put it in a separate pot, warm it up, or bring it to a rolling boil. Meanwhile, I'm heating up this liquid, and I have to process like I would a jelly, pepper jelly in between, but instead of using water, I use my corn liquid, and then use less of the vinegar than what is in the recipe. And so so I combined like a corn jelly and a pepper jelly kind of together. So, and it came out so good. It's different. I think it's good for when you want to do your, feel like having waffles in chicken. I think it'd be perfect for it. You can soften it up. You can add it to your maple syrup, and then you'll have those little hints of corn and pepper. Oh, yum. Anyways, basically what I did was I heated it up, and then after I processed the peppers and the peppers, and I softened up the peppers. That's what you want to do, is you want to soften up the peppers. You're basically cooking. Then you add the pectin before you add the sugar. So you bring it to a boil, and then you add the sugar. So because on my first batch that I messed up, I had to add a little bit more sugar and bring that to a hard boil, because the pectin was already in that, but it didn't harden because of the way I'd processed it before. I added the sugar first and then the pectin, which it was the opposite. You add the pectin if there's not pectin in your fruits and your jellies. If there's no pectin, or if you want to add, you need to add extra pectin, then you can add the extra pectin before you add the sugar. And I don't know how I messed that up. So, but I did. In some of my jams, I don't even put pectin because I don't need to. So, but the jelly, I had to, because how else was I going to get it? So the pectin actually helps it to firm up. So that's what I had to do, and so I made a second batch. I overboiled it. As you see, I made a mess on my kitchen, on my stove top, but that's okay. I'm going to clean it up. I have to go underneath the stove, and I have to clean up all that, because sometimes it just overboils and whatever. But as long as you clean it up, you're okay. So you want to keep your kitchen very safe, and not, be careful not to start anything that is, that can combust into flames. So be very careful. So this is going to get cleaned out. Also, so here is my beautiful jelly. I'm going to process it. I wanted to show you that before I processed it. And this is what it looks like. So it's nice and thick. Do you see it gathering? And that's the way it's supposed to be. It's going to be a nice jelly. So when you mess up your jelly, this is what I've learned. When you mess up your jelly, you could do another half a batch and put more pectin in it, and then maybe add some sugar, extra sugar, to the first failed batch and boil that, and then combine the two. And after I process the sugar on my second batch with my half of recipe, that's what I did, and it worked. So I used a half of recipe with a full package of pectin, and then I added the sugar. I brought it to a boil like instructed, and to a 220 degrees as advised. If you have a candy, I think this is best, but since mine broke, I have to go get another one. Ugh, I hate that that broke. I just used a real small one, but I think the candy gel, the candy thermometer works better. So, and then what I did was I combined. I just added the second recipe that I did with the half of recipe into the first batch that was failed, and then I brought it to a rolling boil for about a minute, and then I tested it in the water. So after it came up to a temperature of 220. So, and then I tested it in the water, and I said, okay, I think this will work. So there you have it. I just wanted to show you that, share that with you. Okay, I hope that helps for all you jelly makers. Yay! Okay. I can't wait to try this.